Hello, everybody. Welcome to Scholar, your one stop destination for all your UPSC related preparation. We are doing art and culture, and I'm your faculty for the same. My name is Pragya Parijat Singh. In the last few lectures, we have done with the introduction of art and culture. I told you some of the previous year question papers, the questions that were given in the mains examination, so on and so forth. The first topic that we did was music, and now today we are going to start with module 5, that is Indian dances. Like before, for conveniences, we have divided Indian dances into subparts because it is a big topic and henceforth it is better to break it down into chunks. So, in this introductory class, we are going to introduce you with the various types of dances. But before beginning, let me give you a brief introduction about the Indian classical dances. So, the excavations, inscriptions, chronicles, genealogies of kings and artists, literary sources, sculptures, and paintings of different period provides an extensive evidence on dances in India. The common root of all Indian classical dance forms can be traced back to Bharat Muni's Natya Shastra. Now, there were Sangeet Natak performed in the 12th and the 19th century from which Indian music evolved out. Basically, there are two aspects of dances, that is the Tandav and the Lasya. Now, Tandav is basically the movement or the rhythmic form, whereas the Lasya is basically more on the expressionist side, which contains grace, bhav, or rasa. Now, it contains deliberations on the different kinds of postures, the mudras, the kind of emotions, the kind of attires, the stage, the ornaments, and the audience. According to Natya Shastra by Bharat Muni, Brahma, the creator of the universe, created drama. So you see that not just rhythmic movement, but a lot of things are involved when we talk about dances. And it includes the costumes that you're wearing, the jewelry that you've adorned, the way you are moving your hands, your face expressions. It's a culmination of all of it. So he took the following components to create a fifth Veda, which is called as the Natya Veda. So apart from the four Vedas, that is Rig Ved, Samved, the Yajur Ved, and the Athar Ved, we also have the fifth Veda, which is called as the Natya Ved, which has three certain parts called as the Pathya, which is called as the words from Rig Ved, Abhinay, gesture from Yajur Ved, and Geet, which includes music and chant from Samved. Some other features includes the three main components of a dance, which is the Natya, Nritya, and the Nritya. So the Natya is basically the dramatic element, whereas the Nritya is the dance movement. However, the Nritya is the expressional component. And when all these three components combine, we have beautiful types of classical dances. Not just dances, but also there are involvement of rasa. So these dances are based upon different types of flavors, and there are basically 9 types of flavors or rasas, which is love, heroism, pathos, humor, anger, fear, disgust, wonder, and peace. So upon these different themes, different rasas, dances are usually based. Now, a further subclassification of these type of classical dances would primarily find into 8 subcategories, especially when we talk about India, the government of India. Now, they are Bharatanatyam, Kathakali, Kuchipudi, Kathak, Manipuri, Odissi, and Satriya. I'm sure many of you must be already aware of it and must have grown up watching these dance performances or have done them when they were in school, or may have opted them as a vocational course, or may have it as a personal hobby or interest. So I'm going to eventually introduce you to these types of dance forms. So among them, the 5 classical dances of India are considered to be the mystic manifestation of the metaphysical elements of nature, that is the Panchatattva in the human body. Now, these includes, it is said that the human body is made up of the 5 elements, that is the Panchatattva. And these includes Odissi, which is the element of water, Kuchipudi, which is the element of earth, Mohiniyattam, which is the element of air, Bharatanatyam, which is the element of fire, and Kathakali, which is the element of sky or ether. These are keywords which I think you all need to remember, and it is a beautiful culmination of five elements that composes a human body. Moving on, we now have the first dance form, which is called as the Bharatanatyam. Just take a brief pause for 10 seconds and look on the left side of the slide presented in front of you. Just look at the beautiful details of her costume, the type of dress that the dancer has put on, the payal, the ghungroos that she has put on, her hand expressions, her leg expressions in the sing, the jewelry that she has put on. And then eventually, let me take you a brief ride through what are the features of Bharatanatyam dance. So, Abhinay Darpan by Nandi Keswara is one of the sources of textual materials when we talk about Bharatanatyam. This is a dance form based basically in Tamil Nadu, as it originated from that place, and it was possibly derived from the word Bharat. In Natya Shastra, Bharatanatyam is described as Eka Harya, in which one dancer depicts many roles. So, one single person in the same dance form can take up different roles from different angles, which is the beauty of this particular dance form. Siva as Nataraja, the Lord of Dance, is depicted in various dance forms. So, if you look at this image closely, and if you have seen the Nataraja image, you will eventually understand that it is exactly the same pose as taken up by this lady, which shows the Nataraja image of Lord Shiva. So, Bharatanatyam leans heavily on the Abhinay or the meme aspect of dance, the Nritya, where the dancer expresses the Sahitya through the movement or meme, gesture, and facial expression. This dance is a transitional movement of the hip and the arm, and the eyes are used in the most expressive manner to convey the emotions. So, Bharatanatyam is usually accompanied by a classical music. It is practiced by both male and female. So, these are some of the important features that you need to remember. Apart from that, two very famous names are associated with Bharatanatyam, that is of E. Krishna Iyer and Rukmini Devi Arundel. Google a little more about Rukmini Devi Arundel and you would get to know some beautiful facts. And a couple of months before, there was a beautiful Google Doodle also about her. And try to read more on her and her contribution towards Bharatanatyam, and you'll understand the significant role played by these two people. And despite changes over the period of time, this art has not lost its sheen and is practiced still across various parts of the country, primarily in Tamil Nadu. Next, we are on Kuchipudi, and we talk about Kuchipudi. Its name is derived from a village in Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. Take another 10 seconds and look at the images that are given on the left side of the slide. I hope you can distinguish a little from the Bharatanatyam. However, if you look closely, there are some sorts of closeness in terms of the costume that both of them were wearing. However, there is a very particular format in which the costume, the sari, and its pleats, the front pleats, are made in this particular dance form. So, this Kuchipudi also has a generic name which is called as the Yakshagan. In fact, the evolution of Kuchipudi and Yakshagan seems to be common. So they are saying that Yakshagan and Kuchipudi are primarily different, but however, in generic terms, both of them are nowadays mostly seen in the same form. So the Kuchipudi style was conceived by Siddhendra Yogi, a talented Vaishnav poet of the 17th century. Now, this dance form can be performed through a drama or in a group or can be performed in a solo manner. So one person can do it, many person can do it, a group can do it, and it is usually done in the form of drama. It begins with an invocation to Lord Ganesha, followed by nritya, that is non-narrative and abstract dancing, shabdam, that is narrative dancing, and natya. So usually whenever this dance form starts, Lord Ganesha is prayed that आवाहन करते हैं. This is the Hindi word that आप गणेश जी का आह्वान करेंगे, that you come here Lord, see my dance, you raise your hands and you join it, you go down to Lord Ganesha, and then eventually you take forward this dance. So the dance is accompanied by a song which is typically of Carnatic music. In the previous lectures, we had already discussed as to what is Carnatic music. Carnatic music was a part of South Indian dance forms. They are very pure in nature. There is hardly any influence of the Persian or Hindi form of music, and it is based upon certain structures which are not tampered with. So the singer is accompanied by mridangam, violin, flute, and tambura. So these are the instruments that are usually associated with Kuchipudi. Like other classical dances, Kuchipudi also comprises pure dance, meme, and histrionics, but it is the use of speech that distinguishes Kuchipudi's presentation as a dance drama. So it is not just dancing the drama, but also at the same time there is some sort of speech that is made. So there's a meme expression, and at the same time there are rhythmic movements. And okay, so we are done with Kuchipudi. Now, this is an important slide which you need to remember. So, in short, if they ask you what is the difference between Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi, these are the key points that you need to remember. So, Bharatanatyam was ancient in origin. However, Kuchipudi is relatively younger than Bharatanatyam. Now, the state associated with Bharatanatyam is Tamil Nadu, while in Kuchipudi, the state of origin is the Krishna district of Andhra Pradesh. Now, in Bharatanatyam, there are elements of fire. As I told you, that the Panchatattva or the human body is made up of 5 elements. The element associated with Bharatanatyam is the fire, while in Kuchipudi, it is the element of earth. In Bharatanatyam, there are precise and rhythmic steps. However, in Kuchipudi, there are rounded steps. In Bharatanatyam, lot of focus to the Aramandi or half-sitting ground position is done. However, in Kuchipudi, dancers don't sit low on ground. Some items includes dancing on brass plate, which is called as Tarangam. Now, you have a small homework, dear students. Now, when you go back to your home, well, I assume that you all are in your home already. So, after the completion of this PPT, just take a pause and see a dance performance by Rukmini Devi Arundel in Bharatanatyam, and then see any Kuchipudi dance performer, and then close your eyes for 30 seconds and eventually try to swallow as to what you've learned, and are these differences pretty much visible or could you not identify. So the best form to memorize is just to take a break, see some pictorial representation and try to sing it inside your body, and it will get eventually very easy for you. Okay, so moving on, we are now on Kathak. So have again a look on the left side of the slide. It doesn't look really like a sari, but it is more or less like a suit, the northern Indian wear, wherein a dupatta has been, or the stole has been taken like this, and it is again folded in a wrapped circular manner. Primarily, a lot of emphasis is given to the ghungru. Okay, now let me tell you some of the features Kathak basically means katha or the story. So it is basically a dance form depicting scriptures or ancient stories in the forms of dance. Initially, they were performed in villages or temples for that matter, and a story used to be generally narrated. And katha, however, later on got transpired into kathak. So, the name Kathak is derived from the Sanskrit word katha meaning story. This dance form traces its origin to the nomadic bards of ancient northern India known as Kathaks or the storytellers. The present day Kathak dance mainly depends on the medieval period Rasa Leela, a local dance in the Braj region of Uttar Pradesh. The Braj region would comprise of this Agra Mathura belt, and in this particular form, stories are depicted from Ras Leela, since this Braj region is associated as the origin place of Lord Krishna. So his gimmicks and his stories and that sort of flirtatious things that were done with the Gopiya in the form of Ras Leela, or his dances and stories with Radha, are usually depicted through Katha. So Kathak became highly stylized in both Hindu and Muslim courts and came to be regarded as a sophisticated form of entertainment. So this got really developed, and eventually it was used during the medieval times by both Hindus and the Muslim courts. So there are three major school or gharanas of Kathak from which performers today generally draw their lineage. These are the Lucknow Gharana, the Jaipur Gharana, and the Banaras Gharana. So Banaras and Lucknow Gharana are situated in Uttar Pradesh, and Jaipur is in Rajasthan. Uh, uh, Apart from this, Radha Krishna acts were performed. That is what we've told you. And Nawab Wajid Ali Shah of Awadh, who was the last emperor, it was during his time that this dance form reached its zenith and became a major art form. So these are the things that you need to remember about Kathak. We are now moving on to Manipur dance form, classical dance form. So Manipuri originated in Manipur and is associated with the rituals and traditional festivals. The central theme is the Ras Leela, again, of Radha and Krishna. Now you see at the beauty that Kathak and Manipur, Kathak is found in Uttar Pradesh while Manipur is found in northeastern part. But despite so much geographical distance between them, there's a common ground of performance that is based upon Rasa Leela. However, the dresses vary completely, and you can see in the left side of the slide that the dressing sense has completely changed. There is a beautiful, elaborate headgear that is worn by this lady, and the ornaments that are put on by her on her hands, and especially the dress that she's wearing is completely very different as to what was worn in Kathak. So just close your eyes for a moment and try to swallow this image inside your body and scan it and affix it wherever it is required for you. Yeah. So the central theme again is Ras Leela of Radha and Krishna, and the themes often depict the pangs of separation of the gopis and Radha from Krishna. So it definitely has some sort of sorrow element in it, as it just tells not the stories of entertainment, but pangs of separation of the gopis and Radha from Krishna. All right. Lai Haroba is the earliest dance form of dance, which forms the basis of all stylized dances in Manipur. Basically, the vital elements of this dance are the characteristic symbols, that is the kartal or manjira and double-headed drum, pang or Manipuri mridang of Sankirtan into the visual performances. So you need to understand that the instruments that are used here while doing these dance forms are completely different as to what was used in the northern parts of India. There was a kartal or manjira. If you are aware as to what is manjira, it is basically two brass sort of caps that are joined by a string, and that you hold it in hands and you play it like this. So these are basically hand instruments that you play while performing these dance forms. Also, there is a double-headed drum of Sankirtan into the visual performances. Now, the most popular forms of Manipuri dance are the Ras, the Sankirtana, and the Thangta. Alright. Not just that, the main performances here are called as the Maibas or the Maibis, which is the priest and the priestess. Now, moving on to next slide, we are at Sankirtana. These are subcategorization of the Manipuri dance forms. So, the first one that we are dealing right now is the Sankirtana. Before moving on to Sankirtana and Thangta, just look at the image that is provided on the left side of the slide. If you see, the lady has covered her face with a veil, usually translucent, and there is a cylindrical sort of attire that is below her that she has adorned. Look at her hand mudras and the type of jewelry that she has put on. This is a very different type of costume that is usually put on. So I hope you will remember it whenever we talk about the Manipuri dance form. So talking about Sankirtana, the Kirtan form, you all must be aware as to what is Kirtan. Kirtan is a very North Indian word which basically says you are singing bhajans or hymns in the praise of Lord, remembering Lord. So the Kirtan form of congregational singing accompanies the dance, which is known as the Sankirtana. The male dancers play the pung and the kartal while dancing. The masculine aspect of dance, the choloms, is a part of the Sankirtana tradition. Now, moving on to Thangta, it is a martial dancers of Manipur. The Thangta have their origins in the days when man's survival depended on his ability to defend himself from wild animals. So you see, it is so beautiful how a man's ability to fight from an animal was eventually developed as a type of dance form, a martial dance form, and henceforth, if you see at the elaborate ways in which Thangta is performed, you will eventually understand that the inherent story or the story of its origin would lie as to how a human used to protect itself from wild animals. Today, Manipur has an evolved and sophisticated repertoire of martial dances, and the dancers use swords, spears, and shields. Real fight scenes between the dancers show an extensive training and control of the body. Now, this is my beautiful one. We are now on to Kathakali. Kathakali is personally my very favorite, and it is usually the regional theatrical dance form that is found in Kerala. Now, it is also called as Kudiyattam, Ramanattam, or Krishna Attam locally. So, the dance form is a blend of dance, music, and acting, and dramatizes stories which are mostly adapted from the Indian epics. Poet Vallathol composed the classical Kathakali dance form. These are basically some of the features that are associated with Kathakali, but I would like to tell you a little brief about it. Have a look at the left side of the slide that is there, and it shows the image of a Kathakali dancer. There's a very elaborate headgear that this person has adorned that actually looks like a mukut. Then the color of the dancer is usually very catchy. It is either green, it is either red, it is either blue, and the enactment of a performance can include the roles of kings, the gods, the demons, and depending upon that, different types of colors are provided. Now, again, if you look at the stunning and the elaborate costume, you'll see that the skirt that this person has put on is so elaborate, is so beautiful that this signifies the magnificence of this particular dance form. And one very famous name that is associated with Kathakali is the Kalamandalam Gopi. Now, apart from Kalamandalam Gopi, there are some other prominent dancers as well. And just look at the nails. This image particularly shows a dancer in the form of a demon, and the nails that are there, and the types of his facial expression. It is so deep and intense that you will be absolutely enchanted by the performance of the singer of the dancers. Now, moving on. Some other features of Kathakali. Just look at the face and the elaborate face gear that this person is wearing. How broadly the colors are, the eyes are contoured. and how the face, the smile is made very prominent. And the entire feature lies in the elaboration of this person. It's the costume and the outer appearance itself is so magnificent that any person will get lost in the beauty of Kathakali dances. So Kathakali is considered to be the combination of five elements of fine art. First is the expression, that is Natyam, the component with emphasis on facial expression. Second is dance, which is called as Rhythm, the component of dance with emphasis on rhythm and movements of hands. Enactment, that is Nrityam, the element of drama with emphasis on mudras, which are hand gestures. The song or the vocal accompaniment, which is called as the Geet. And the next one, which is the instrument accompaniment, which is called as the Vadyam. So we have Natyam, Nritham, Nrityam, Geetam, and Vadyam. These are some of the features that are associated with Kathakali dance. So this is all we have learned for today, and I'm sure it must have been a good experience for you all to understand as to what are the different types of dance forms that are used in India, and giving you a brief summary of what we have learned. We have talked about the Manipuri dance form, Kuchipudi, Kathak, the different types of 8 dance forms that are recognized by Government of India, a brief introduction as to how they originated, so on and so forth. So, in the next lectures, we are going to learn more about the classical dances. Until for now, thank you so much. Keep watching and stay tuned to scholar.com.